Straight ahead on WBKB, when you can expect a stimulus check.
Plus, guidelines for fully vaccinated people, and today is International Women's Day.
You are watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz. One of President Biden's top campaign promises is that much closer to being finished. This Saturday, the Senate passed Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill on a party line vote. But the bill was sent back to the House for approval, which is expected to come tomorrow. And after that, it will likely be on the president's desk before the end of the week. And people could start seeing those stimulus bills in their bank accounts very soon.
So these $1,400 checks, first and foremost, help people who need help. Second, they're coming soon. They'll be here in about 2 weeks, give or take a few days.
Well, the last round of stimulus checks from President Trump hit bank accounts within a few days of the bill being signed into law.
Today is International Women's Day. It's a global holiday celebrating the achievements of women. Earlier Monday, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, along with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, spoke at a virtual ceremony celebrating the International Women of Courage Awards. Both the First Lady and Secretary Blinken noted the important role of women in changing the world for the better.
And it's often women and girls.
That justice can only be justice if it's for all. Your fight is our fight. And your courage calls us to come together again and again and again.
Meanwhile, today, women's groups are calling on Congress to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. Individual rallies were planned Monday in several cities across the country, including Phoenix, New York, and Detroit. The rallies are in response to the Senate passing the COVID relief bill that excludes a wage increase. Organizers say they are calling on Senate Democrats to keep their campaign promise.
And in other news, the CDC releases their first set of guidelines for vaccinated people. New guidance says fully vaccinated people can visit with unvaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or being 6 feet apart. They can visit with other vaccinated people without doing so either. After coming into contact with COVID-19, fully vaccinated people can also refrain from quarantine and testing. A person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after receiving their last dose. Vaccine or not, the CDC still recommends mask wearing in public, social distancing, and avoiding gatherings.
The state of Michigan began vaccinating more people today. Registration opened this morning for residents 50 and older with a pre-existing condition, and caregivers of children with special needs can sign up to get their vaccine. Those that are eligible can sign up by contacting District Health Department number 4, Mid-Michigan Health, or other vaccination sites. The state will continue to expand vaccine eligibility this month. On March 22nd, all Michiganders age 50 and older are eligible to be vaccinated, as well as homeless Michigan residents.
Well, a 16-year-old accidentally detonated a homemade explosive device at Newaygo High School this morning. The student was injured and brought to the hospital along with 4 other classmates and his teacher. Students were sent home for the day. The injuries were reported as minor to moderate by the Newaygo police chief. Police do not believe it was intended to hurt anyone. The device was not a firework, as the school initially reported on Facebook. The investigation is active, and state police are working with the FBI for more details. Over the weekend, the Ascota County Sheriff's Office and other first responders were called to a crash involving an ATV and a commercial vehicle, leaving 1 person dead. The accident happened near the intersection of M72 and Randall Road in Big Creek Township. 2 Mayo residents were riding a Can-Am side-by-side ATV and collided with a vehicle operated by a 47-year-old male from Luzerne. The 32-year-old Mayo resident was pronounced dead at the scene. The 29-year-old was airlifted to Traverse City Munson Hospital. Oscoda Deputy David Stenzel stresses the importance of vehicle safety.
If you're going to be riding in a certain county, I would research what county you're going to be riding in and look up their rules for that county, but there are also state guidelines as well.
Stenzel says people get careless doing donuts in the roadways and speeding, causing hazards for drivers. The man from Luzerne was treated at the scene and released. The crash is still under investigation.
An Alpena man is charged with home invasion. 30-year-old James John Tanner was arraigned on March 4th from Kent County Jail, where he is currently lodged on unrelated charges. Michigan State Police say Tanner used a credit card to jimmy a door lock and enter a home on French Road back on Halloween night. When the homeowner returned with her children, she recognized Tanner and called 911. He ran from the home before police could arrive. Tanner faces 1-count home invasion, second degree. His next scheduled court appearance is March 23rd.
A new state bill supporting children of fallen first responders has passed legislation. The bill was first introduced by State Representative Matt Colzar in 2019. The bill would guarantee tuition-free college for all surviving school-aged children of Michigan police officers and firefighters who were killed in the line of duty. Now, the bill will go all the way to the Senate for review.
The Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity announced the recipients of funding for education and career support. $1.5 million was granted to 6 Michiganders. The money will help adult learners 23 and over. LEO Director Stephanie Backhorn says the funding will help adults receive services and resources to earn their high school diploma and start them on a road to success. Backhorn adds, the more you learn, the more you earn. I guess that's good advice.
Yeah.
There is more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, Alpena County welcomes a new state trooper.
We have more warmth in store for Wednesday, but also some rain to talk about for the middle of the week. I'll have more on that coming up later in the newscast.
I can deal with rain if our Mondays look like this. Michigan State Police Alpena Post welcomes a new trooper. MSP's Trooper Recruit School recently honored 55 graduates. Trooper Jonathan Woods out of Heron will now be serving the Alpena area. At a virtual graduation ceremony, Governor Whitmer congratulated the troopers, saying, quote, "Public service is an honor and a calling, and I know these new troopers will commit themselves to keeping our community safe." Woods and his classmates start their assignments this week. And the Department of Natural Resources wants your feedback. The DNR invites Alpena County residents to a set of meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday. The meetings are part of a long-term project reviewing the state's public land holdings. Project leaders want to hear residents' ideas for dealing with certain parcels of land that don't meet the DNR's mission. You can find a link to the online meetings and an interactive land map on our website. Tuesday's meeting runs from 6 to 8 p.m. and Wednesday's meeting runs from 2:30 to 4:30, and we'll have more information on that story tomorrow.
In health news, a mobile app is helping people with vision loss and new research about wearing masks during exercise. Michael George has a look at some of the day's top health stories.
Researchers in Europe say it's safe to wear a face mask while working out. They examined the breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure of 12 men and women using an exercise bike with and without a mask. None of the results indicated any risk to health. A new study in the journal Cancer examines racial disparities in cancer clinical trials. Researchers found trials conducted outside the U.S. were less likely to enroll black patients, which could lead to inaccurate assessments of the safety and efficacy of anti-cancer drugs. And researchers in the U.K. have released the latest version of an app to help educate patients and their families about glaucoma. The eye condition is the leading cause of preventable vision loss worldwide. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Coming up on WBKB News, Ellie Morrison is next with your 7-day forecast.
Coyote will not be a hungry visitor anywhere near me. Thank you, Patty, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
I kind of want to pet it, but I know that would end badly.
Not a good idea.
Well, it's Monday, so we'll have your top plays in sports next. But first, Jake Vanderbrook is here to show us what else is going on. Jake, what's up tonight?
Hey, Tyler, Sherry, Ellie, hope you had a wonderful weekend. And to all of you viewers, coming up next in sports, we have your top plays of the week. Find out which plays made it for this week. And the Wildcats were in action as they battled the Trojans of Traverse City Central.
And welcome back. LeBron James takes on the fight to defend voting rights in a new campaign. And a woman on the run from her husband makes a disturbing discovery in the new dark comedy Made for Love. Chris Martinez has those stories and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
Dave's dad band loses its lead singer, and the replacement becomes a bit of a problem on a new episode of The Neighborhood.
Convince her that you guys are holding her back. I'm telling you, Dave, you don't fire Beyonce. You make her want to go solo.
When the amateur band loses its star, Tina offers to fill in. The new episode of The Neighborhood airs tonight here on CBS.
Look what we did. Look what we made happen.
LeBron James narrates a new campaign to defend voting rights. More Than a Vote is launching the new national campaign to combat voter suppression. The voting rights advocacy group, led by a collective of athletes, including James, aired the first ad during yesterday's NBA All-Star Game. Katie Couric takes the podium as the guest host of Jeopardy this week. The journalist is one of several guest hosts slated to appear on the show over the next month. Couric will host the popular game show for the next 2 weeks. And we're getting a first look at the upcoming HBO Max dark comedy Made for Love.
I left Byron.
Why? What did he do?
Your loves.
He put a surveillance chip in my brain.
The series follows Hazel Green, who's on the run from her controlling husband. She soon discovers her husband implanted a chip in her brain, allowing him to track her and her emotional data. Kristen Milioti, Ray Romano, and Billy Magnuson star. Made for Love will stream on HBO Max in April. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's all we have for you this evening.
You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.